All right, today I'm going to give you my thoughts on a topic which I feel is very important, especially if you are a youngster. Obviously, this topic is important for people of any age, but predominantly if you're young. Okay, and it is about dealing with your vices. And by vices, I mean smoking, drinking alcohol, uh, you know, even where sex is concerned. So whatever your vices are, and given the fact that today's day and age, we have social media also, addiction to social media. So the various vices, smoking, drinking, um, you know, sex, whether it's pornography or whatever, and yes, social media, and then you can have anything that you overdo, that is eating food, or you can't stop eating, or friends, you can't stop being out with friends or being with gangs. Okay, so I just want to discuss these topics with you, this topic, and I'll tell you why I'm discussing it. Okay, now, first and foremost, let me say that I have made enough and more mistakes in my life. Okay, thankfully, I didn't make so serious of a mistake that I had to pay a price. For example, someone who drank a lot of alcohol and they're addicted to alcohol, and they crashed, they had an accident, or they got into a gang fight and they shot someone, they went to jail. So thankfully for me, I never had such an incident, and neither am I addicted to any substance or habit today. Yeah, the only so-called bad habit I have is maybe I love attention, and how I've commercialized it is through my YouTube channel. And obviously you can make out my tattoos, and always trying to be the center of the spotlight. So I love attention, but thankfully for me, I've been able to commercialize it. I make money out of it, and I love talking. Okay, but now where it comes to substances, and yeah, if you notice, I've not even touched upon drugs and weed and all that, because that is even more worse. Okay, so now comes to smoking, drinking, all these vices. Now, right off the bat, I'm very sure if you tell anybody that smoking is bad, drinking is bad, or socializing, meeting your friends is bad, they'll say, see, listen, man is a social being. I drink to socialize. I'm just a casual drinker. I'm a casual smoker. To that, I will just give you one simple answer. If you know that smoking is harmful, can you give me one positive health benefit of smoking? There's no benefit. You're putting smoke into your lungs. If smoking had a benefit, why don't we give small children, small babies, smoke? Why don't we give alcohol? No, there's nothing good. And then, yes, you'll always get, in cold countries, to keep warm, you have to. My dear, I have been to Dublin, Ireland, where the temperature was -3. I didn't need to drink alcohol to keep warm. I know a lot of people who live in ice cold countries, they don't drink alcohol. So why are we giving this excuse? And then people like to justify by saying, see, listen, food is more poisonous. See, just because one thing is bad doesn't justify doing something else. Look, I'm not asking you to have a perfect life, or you don't smoke, you don't drink. However, if you have that life, isn't it beneficial for you only? Wouldn't it help you? See, I'll tell you this much. Smoking has a price to pay. And the price in the short term is every day you'll waste money on cigarettes. Every single day. And if you calculate that over the period of a lifetime. I don't know, I checked the website, maybe you can just Google search. It seems people spend $500,000 on cigarettes and around $500,000 on alcohol. That's on an average. But if you actually look at it, I'm sure people spend more. And then there are other vices that come with this. Gambling is a very big one. And I think the addiction to social media today is another very big one. Okay, so let's take one thing at a time. Smoking is bad for your health. Please don't do it. Because yes, it feels good to bond with other people. That guy is, man, you want a cigarette? Yeah. And both of you, and you might feel, oh, it's relaxing. Yeah, because oxygen is being deprived, so you feel a state of relax, but you're harming your body. Yeah. And see, one of the core reasons why I never got into smoking and drinking, even though I had no guidance, I saw this ad, this documentary which came on TV. And I'm telling you, I was just lucky to see it. They showed people with bell bottoms and they were dancing in the beach, wearing the typical 70s outfit, sideburns and girls. And so they were dancing in a beach party. And they were giving this example of this guy. He's dancing with this girl. So this guy does something to like irritate him or just push him. So he chases him. He has a cigarette in his mouth. So when he chases him, after some time, that guy is like, he's huffing and puffing. So then they show a cartoon like animated this thing, where they show the heart is like, because of the smoke, it cannot run. So I was like, man, why should I smoke if it makes me not a good, doesn't make me have good health, that I cannot run, that I cannot play sports? Why do I want to smoke if it makes me weak? So I wanted to be a strong, as a small boy, I wanted to be a, this Arnold and, kind of like muscular guy. Because those days, those were our so-called larger than life role models. And the funny thing is, I used to sometimes see Arnold smoking a cigar, having a cigar in his mouth. I just wonder, he's saying he wants to be healthy, but then why is he having that cigar? So I used to think, maybe he's just doing to show off. So I never wanted to get there. Yes, I was curious to see what is this they are doing. So one day I took a cigarette, lit it, and I was seriously, that's what I did. I just took, and I just wanted to show that I was stylish. I lit a cigarette. This is when I was, I think, 17. I put it in my mouth. I was walking and I had the cigarette in my mouth, and I was just blowing. I was going this way. I wanted to feel macho. And then I saw one of my schoolmates. He was walking. This was in Dubai. He asked me, "Hey man, how are you doing?" I fine. "Oh, you're smoking?" I said, "Yeah, just." He's saying, "Hey, you're not smoking properly, man." I said, "How do you smoke properly?" So he said, "Just take it and swallow the smoke." I said, "Swallow?" He said, "Yeah, swallow the smoke and then breathe it out." So now you can imagine, for a guy like me who never swallowed the smoke, I I took and I swallowed, and oh man, I nearly choked, and I could feel like, I don't know, as if something was like really coarse, and like someone put charcoal in my throat, and I was like, I was coughing, and I was like, this is fucked up, man, this is messed up. And then after he went, I was like, what is this? I didn't like it, and I just threw it off. I threw off the cigarette. So that was my only interaction with smoke, and I never had any fascination after that. I used to see other people smoke, but I didn't like it. And especially when you smell of cigarettes. In fact, when I had one girl who smoked and I kissed her, she smelled like like I was kissing an ashtray. I didn't like it. This is when I was young. And then alcohol, I used to see my mother and father, especially nighttime, they call it drinking one peg with food. They would drink and for sleep. So I used to always wonder why they do that, and just to drink wine and red wine, and so I never understood that. But I remember once at a party, we had this Mangalorean get together during Easter. They had this get together and they were celebrating Easter, and they were giving port wine, Goan port wine, which somebody had just got it. I don't know how they got it. So they said, "Do you want to drink?" I said, No. They said, "Just drink a little, just drink." I don't know why did they encourage me, but I was like, okay, fine. So I drank in a thin glass this much red wine on an empty stomach. After I drank it, I was like, hey, everything is moving. So then okay, fine, okay. Have little rice. So they gave me a little bit of rice and the room stopped moving. And I was like, tasted something like, not actually sweet, but I was like, so that was it. I tried sipping beer. It tasted yuck. I was like, why people like this? The maximum I could say that I did get drunk was I drank Bacardi Breezer 1 just to show that I'm a macho drinker. And the only other alcoholic beverage that I drank was when I went with my friend. He was a couple of years elder to me. He took me to, I remember, Ramada Hotel, which is more like a 5-star hotel. We were eating there and he ordered brandy. Okay. Brandy or rum? I can't remember, man. It's like with a goblet and you have to put your nose and smell. So he was like, try this. So I don't know what it was, brandy or rum. I'm being honest with you. So when I drank, it felt very warm, felt very, very warm. And this was when I was in my 30s, you know. Sorry, not 30s. Yeah, 25, like that. So I was like, it tastes nice. And thankfully I was eating, so I didn't get high. I was like, okay, I'll drink one more. He's like, hey, you sure? Sure. So I drank one more. But then I realized it felt good. It felt kind of warm and, you know. Then I was like, wait, you know, I thought about it later. If I start drinking now, I know that I'll be addicted. I always had that fear. So then I decided no more. And I think my belief in this cemented when I saw that same friend of mine, when he got into an emotional battle with his girlfriend, that she wanted to break up with him, he didn't want to break up. He used to stay with me as roommates. We used to stay together. He would go to the bar or pub and drink maybe 5 hours, 6 hours. And he used to drive. I used to sit with him. He used to drive like the car would go this way, this way, this way. We escaped having an accident so many times. In fact, once we even hit a divider on a bridge. The car went up like this. And thankfully, I didn't know how to drive, but I was holding the steering wheel because I was going mad. And then when he came home, one day he puked. Where he was sleeping only, he puked where he was sleeping. I had to wake him up. I washed him. I took that blanket. I cleaned it. He was very embarrassed with what had happened. So I saw the addiction, and what shocked me the most was he spent his entire salary on alcohol. I think he had 2 or 3 credit cards he spent on alcohol, and he had taken a loan for his house. That money also is spending for alcohol. So I just realized this is not worth it. Yeah. Thankfully, he got out of the relationship. He went to Thailand. He had a good time. And then when he came back, he forgot all about that girl. So I told you about smoking. I told you about drinking. Now comes to weed. See, the thing about weed, it's the problem is now there are so many countries legalizing weed, and people are talking of therapeutic reasons, and it's good, it has medical benefits. So see, all this sounds very nice. Okay, all this sounds very nice. But is it necessary for life? Like, without weed, you can't survive? Do you need weed to survive? If that was the case, why don't we give small children weed? No, it has addictive properties, man. just like hookah, like smoking. Uh, I can't give you the identity of the person, but someone very close to me, very, very close, is now having weed 24/7. It started off as just trying to be cool, and now the person doesn't work. The person's my age. Person doesn't go to work. Thankfully, he stays in a Western country and has taken medical exemption for weed. Doesn't go to work at all and just takes the benefits of medical exemption. Such a talented, such a handsome, such a good-looking young man. Like I told you, around my age, but a couple of years younger. And now all he does is sit at home and smoke weed. You'll say, oh, this depends on... Yeah, it depends from person to person. But why get down a slippery slope when you know the addiction is there? He has destroyed his life. I mean, here in Thailand, you have people who put weed into tea, coffee, juice, and oh, it has therapeutic. See, any substance which is external, which you need to maintain peace of mind or health, you will be addicted to it for the rest of your life, man. I don't buy and subscribe to this nonsense. Okay, Joe Rogan will speak and all that. I'm sorry, but I'm not Joe Rogan. I'm me. Remember this. Yeah, you'll meet, like my landlord, he's 94 years old. He smokes, he drinks a little bit before he sleeps. Just because he smokes and drinks doesn't mean that you'll also be ripe old age of 95. My relatives have died at 50. I know there's a guy who has had lung problems, and because of COVID he died in his early 30s. He has left a wife and kid. There are people who before COVID also died at an early age because they couldn't control smoking, drinking. The amount of money, time, energy, effort, and you're gambling with your life here. So that is with regards to smoking, drinking. Now comes the next one. That is, I told you, drugs also, I already spoke about it. Now comes social media. See, social media in itself it's a necessary evil. We can't live without it. The internet and social, we need it. But then the problem is the addiction comes when we can't switch it off. And I'll be the first one to tell you that I have been addicted to it before. And it took a very long time to get out. I mean, if we can calculate, say 15 years of my life, okay, 10 to 15 years. I would say if you count the number of years spent on just social media minus the work, I would say if you say 15, let's say close to at least 9 or 10. That much time I wasted, and there is no benefit for my career. There's no benefit for anything. All it did was temptation. And same thing with social media, all that came gaming. I told you, I have spent more than, I think, $15,000 or $20,000 on an online game. It's not good, man. That $15,000 I could have kept it for my wife, for my child. But thankfully for me, done and dusted and gone, finished. But now, does that mean there is no addiction? Yes, there is still. I always like to see that feeling of emails, messages, what people are talking, information. That will always remain. But now it is more controlled because, like for example, now I'm doing work. If I were to sit and waste time on social media, I can't do this, right? And thankfully, I'm very passionate. I love what I do. So even gaming, I'm not so crazy that I'll put on the game and not do work. For me, work is first. I do my work. Then afterwards, when I finish everything, then I sit and watch social media or movies or whatever. Now, if you're talking of how to get away from addiction towards social media, there is no easy way out. There's only one way. If you don't have your phone, if you don't have the internet, if you don't have access, you're not going to be addicted. But sitting in a room and having that phone in front of you, obviously you'll go berserk and you can't hold yourself. So you'll have to ask other people to help you. Give them your phone, or go to another place, go outside somewhere, leave your phone in the house, go sit in a coffee shop, sit and read, study, or do something. That is where you'll not be addicted. And that is a good solution I found for myself. And remember, take help from others. The solution is very simple. If you don't have your smartphone, don't have your device, don't have the internet, and you're not in a location where you can access it, there's no more addiction. And take one day at a time. Don't try to take whole life, and one day at a time. Okay? And yes, all those other apps which distract you from being addicted to crazy sites, sometimes it's best to have one device, which is your working device, where you only focus on work. Okay? Don't put other apps, and then have an entertaining device if you have the money for two. Okay? Otherwise, the only solution I can think of is install when you need it, uninstall when you finish. Okay. Now comes the biggest one, that is sex. I'm pretty sure almost every single human being has addiction to sex. Every single. How do you overcome this one? This is a major question. See, there's no easy answer to this. The reason being is, we feel hungry, we eat food. Okay? But now, can you quantify hunger? And, there's addiction to food also. And given the fact that food is nowadays very tasty and chemicals are used and they make food, they give you at a discount, they buy one, get one free. I've had food addiction for so long. When I sit down, I have to eat something or another. It just keeps stuffing my mouth. So I've had food addiction for many years. Okay? So now, food and sex, how do you control this? The only answer I can give you is, one is you can't do it by yourself. Okay, this is a fact. Especially if you have access, easy access. If you have a smartphone, you have the internet, and you can just check with one single click, you can check a porno site. I mean, I can tell you, control yourself. But then how long can you hold yourself? It's like holding your breath. At some point you lose self-control. So how do you control? Over there, you definitely need somebody's help and guidance. So for sex, where sex is concerned, I would definitely suggest seeking guidance and help. And yes, where smoking and drinking, if it is an extreme case, you must seek therapy. Okay? So sex is one area. And the only other solution which I have managed to come up with is, if you view every girl in a sexual way and you can't control yourself, sometimes it's better to just satisfy the urge before you go meet someone. Because the worst thing is, you're trying to control yourself, you're holding yourself, and then you go meet a girl and it's a quiet area, or nobody's around, or you're alone with this person. You can lose control. And if you make a mistake when you're at workplace or with a colleague or with somebody, and that person's not comfortable, you'll destroy your career, your life, because all you need is a claim that you molested or tried to rape this person. So it's very sensitive. You have to be very careful here. Okay? So that is why I tell people, listen, it's better you use your hand, masturbate, finish it off, and then go meet. So at least you'll be in control. And see, where porn is concerned, I'll tell you, because of the pleasure that it gives you, it takes you into this virtual world of satisfaction, and you believe that, oh, I'm enjoying myself, especially with the fact that you don't have access, or you don't have the money, or you're staying in a very conservative society. It's very easy for me to comment and say, control yourself or don't watch porn. That is why I told you, seek help. Okay, seek help from a professional. And you have to work case by case basis. The only other solution I have found where porn is concerned is, you need to go do some physical exercise like running or gym or sports, and work until you're absolutely dead tired, or be in a public place. If you're in front of everyone, obviously you're not going to try something stupid. So those are the two only different things. Okay, and like I told you, seek help. Where food is concerned, again, you have to seek help, because if you have the money and the means and easy access for food, no matter how you control yourself, you will always lose control. And yes, figure out what is your diet, figure out what you're eating, figure out your lifestyle, take professional help. For me, I tried years and years to overcome the addiction for food. Man, I kept losing the battle. It was like yo-yo. I would do it for a few days, and then I do it for a few weeks, then few months, then get fed up and tired and lose control, then gain back all the weight. That is why, until the age of 40, I kept going gym and running and swimming and cycling, and weight would go up and down and up and down. Finally, I opted for bariatric surgery, where my ability to eat was severely controlled. That was one. But the second thing was, I lost interest in most of the things. But it's not a solution. Huh? Don't think it's a quick fix. Please consult. Don't consult a doctor who is commercializing and trying to look for the next customer. Go through someone who's a well-wisher, who's a family person, who doesn't have any benefit whether you do or don't do the surgery. Okay? And take his guidance. And for me, thankfully, after I got the surgery done, again, the addiction, when it came, I was able to use social media, and you saw how I lost. From 83, I came down to, now I'm at 69. Okay. And I think the final addiction is whatever, gambling or whatever is your addiction. Okay, I don't know how many other addictions you may have. See, whatever your addiction is in life, okay, let's say gambling or smoking, drinking, drugs, women. If you don't address the issue when it's at an early stage, it becomes part and parcel of your life. Like, for example, today's children are born with a smartphone. They are born with the internet connection. They are born with social media. And if you try to take it away from them, some go berserk. Even gaming. There have been cases in India where youngsters have killed their parents, murdered, or gone on a rampage, because the addiction is very serious. It's a very serious problem. So if you don't address whatever is your addiction, by the time you realize it's an addiction, it'll be too late. See, ask any person who's smoking, drinking, pornography, who's into weed. After a certain time, you can't, you just can't. And then if it takes over you, your life will be destroyed. So you must seek professional help. You must seek professional help, seek the best help you can get, and you must overcome this through self-discipline, self-control, self-awareness. And I'll tell you, that'll save you not only years, save you money, it'll save you effort, and it'll save you from destroying your life. Remember this much, it's not the good things that will make you, it is the bad things that will actually destroy and break you. And it'll destroy everything that you even created and built. And it's not worth it. So if there was one piece of advice I would give you through this is, please seek help if you have any kind of addiction, whether smoking, drinking, drugs, sex, gambling, gaming, social media. Please seek someone who is qualified, certified, and who can save you from destroying your life. Because you just have one life, man. And if you cannot control these vices, not control, don't have them. it'll destroy you. Better not to have them. I'm telling you this. You don't need cigarettes or alcohol to socialize. You don't need it. I did not have it, yet I socialize so much. How? So there's no excuse for this. So I hope this video was of some value to you. And I genuinely hope that whatever your addiction is, you find the right person, you find the right solution, and you overcome it. All right? Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Good, bad, ugly. Feel free, and you can ask any question. If there is any way I can answer it, fine. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. All right? You guys take care. It's me signing off. Ciao.